7 decades ago, the United Nations was founded to ensure international peace and human rights for all. But over time, the world body became a safe haven for brutal regimes. Starting in the 1970s, the Arab states turned the UN against Israel.
Israel persists in ethnic cleansing, racial discrimination, destruction of homes, aggression against places of worship.
These violations include extrajudicial killing, arbitrary detention, collective punishment, displacement of Syrian families,
a flagrant violation of international law,
colonization and apartheid,
murdering innocent civilians.
When you have the UN condemning Israel as a racist country, well, it erodes Israel's legitimacy. It erodes and weakens Israel's ability to defend itself on the battlefield if nations don't support you in international fora. We realized that the United Nations in many cases is a threat and danger, but it's also an opportunity.
United Nations Watch, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
UN Watch is a human rights organization. We are the leading organization fighting anti-Israel bias and anti-Semitism at the United Nations. In 1993, Morris Abram, a renowned civil rights leader who had worked closely with Martin Luther King, founded UN Watch. Ambassador Abram drew eminent figures to the UN Watch board and created a legacy. With the advent of social media, the world changed. Now under the leadership of Ambassador Alfred Moses, a prominent attorney and diplomat, UN Watch's audience exploded, reaching millions worldwide. In 2007, something changed at the United Nations. For the first time, it began to be filmed.
You ask, what has become of the founder's dream, of Eleanor Roosevelt, of René Cassin, of John Humphrey, P.C. Chang, Charles Malik, who assembled here in Geneva 60 years ago? Mr. President, with terrible lies and moral inversion, this council is turning that dream into a nightmare.
The chairman at the time, he really didn't like the speech, and he pointed his finger and he said,
Por primera vez.
For the first time in the session, I will not express thanks for that statement.
He banned the speech. I could never give that speech again. And when I walked out, I realized, wait a minute, this is on video, which was new at the time. And I said, no, put it on YouTube, put it up. When we put it up there, suddenly this video goes viral. We had said the truth, and the UN didn't want to hear the truth. In 2001, the United Nations held its most important anti-racism conference. It was really a traumatic event for Jews worldwide. At a conference, a global conference for human rights against racism became a conference demonizing Israel and the Jewish people. Suddenly, 8 years later, in 2009, the UN began to plan the sequel for that conference, the Durban II conference. And UN Watch took the lead in organizing the counter-effort. We held a real human rights conference the day before the Durban conference. A few days before the conference began, we brought someone to speak, a mystery guest.
I don't know if you recognize me. I am the Palestinian medical intern who was scapegoated by your country, Libya, in the HIV case in Benghazi hospital, together with the 5 Bulgarian nurses.
And you could see it, she went into shock. Before the conference began, we had exposed the hypocrisy of the Libyans chairing a conference on racism. The fact that Durban IV was held in 2021 and 38 countries pulled out, that was terrific. So that's encouraging, and that gives us inspiration. In March 2017, the UN had just published a report to accuse Israel of apartheid.
Now I'd like to ask the members of that commissioned that report, the Arab states from which we just heard, Egypt, Iraq, and the others, how many Jews live in your countries? How many Jews lived in Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Libya, Morocco? Once upon a time, the Middle East was full of Jews. Algeria had 140,000 Jews. Algeria, where are your Jews? Egypt used to have 75,000 Jews. Where are your Jews? Syria, you had tens of thousands of Jews. Where are your Jews? Iraq, you had over 135,000 Jews. Where are your Jews? Mr. President, where is the real apartheid? Why is there a UN commission on the Middle East that does not include Israel?
I know for Jews who come from the Middle East, no one ever talks about them. And for a moment, someone did for a couple of minutes at the UN. It meant a lot for them. And then it just went viral around the world, and it's been seen about 10 million times. It was September 2017. We brought a surprise speaker.
Thank you, United Nations Watch.
I take the floor on behalf of the UN Watch. My name is Mus'ab Hassan Youssef. I grew up in Ramallah as a member of Hamas. I ask, where does your legitimacy come from?
That video has been seen millions of times and seen by so many people around the world. And, you know, of course, because he's Palestinian, he's Muslim, he's Arab, he's the son of Hamas. His words carried a special weight.
The suffering of the Palestinian people is the outcome of your selfish political interest. You are the greatest enemy of the Palestinian people. You use this platform to mislead the international community, to mislead the Palestinian society, to believe that Israel is responsible for the problem you create.
UN Watch was able to give him that platform and to get the truth out to the world. It was one of those moments when you knew that something epic had happened at the UN and the son of Hamas had stunned the United Nations into silence with his words of truth. Our impact is global. We have millions of followers around the world. Our videos are seen worldwide. Our words get quoted in major newspapers, 600 newspapers a year, that our words get seen by millions through our videos. That gives us inspiration. We know it's an uphill battle. We refuse to give up, and we're going to keep fighting for the truth. Every bit of support that we get, whether it's a like or a share or a donation, is wind in our sails, and we believe that the day will yet come when we can make the world a better place.